This is the story of Pandora, written and illustrated by Shoo Rayner. So this is my brand new picture book, Pandora, and it says, "Do not open this book." Pandora, is she very naughty or just very curious? You have been warned. Pandora, are you just a little bit curious? Well, once upon a time, a long time ago, when everything was lovely and nothing bad had ever happened in the world, there was a very curious girl. Her name was Pandora, and she was so curious about everything that you can imagine. She couldn't help herself. That's just the way she was. She was curious to know how lizards could walk on the ceiling, and why pomegranates had so many seeds, and why the sun didn't burn holes in the sky, and why the moon chased the stars all night. Pandora was so curious that she mostly wanted to know about things that were absolutely none of her business. And more than anything else, she was curious about the room at the end of the long, dark corridor. She had been told 1,000,000 times she must never, ever go there. But she really was a very curious girl. So what do you think she did? Of course, she did exactly what she had been told she must never, ever do, even though she had been told 1,000,000 times before. She really was a very curious girl. At midnight, when all the world was sleeping, Pandora took her lamp with its flickety-flickering light, and she snick, snack, snuck down the stairs. Tippy-tippy-tap went her feet on the floor as she crept down the long, dark corridor. Was she very naughty? Or was she just very curious? Well, the walls were painted with pictures of people. Their eyes seemed to follow her, watching, 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 as she came to the end of the long, dark corridor. The long and lonely, pitch-dark corridor, where she stopped and reached out to open the door. Clunk, clunk, clunk went the big shiny handle. Squeak, squeak, squeak went the hinges on the door. Bump, bump, bump went Pandora's heart as she silently tiptoed into the room. It was cold in the room, freezing, freezing cold. Pandora shivered, and her breath made clouds. She had been told 1,000,000 times before that she must never, ever go there. But Pandora really was a very curious girl. The room was almost empty. A small wooden table stood on the plain bare floor, and in the middle of the table sat a small wooden box. A key lay by its side. On the lid of the box were carved these words: "Do not look inside." Oh, Pandora couldn't help herself, 'cause she really was a very curious girl. Tick-tick-tick-tick went the lizard on the ceiling. It was the only sound in the quiet, quiet house. Slip, slip, slip went the key into the lock. Click, click, click. Oh, the key turned so easily. And slowly, 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 Pandora lifted up the lid of the box. A cloud of horrid, nasty things flew from the box on rasping, buzzing wings. Each little pest had a different name, like trouble, hunger, fear, and shame. They nipped and they bit and they caught up in Pandora's hair. Pandora ran like the wind, and the creatures followed in her wake down the long, dark corridor and up, up, up the narrow, winding stairs. And in her room they raced to the window, drawn by the darkness beyond, free at last to fill the world with all the bad and terrible things it had never known before. Pandora dived beneath her bedclothes. She squeezed her eyes tight shut, and she scared herself to sleep. The last of the creatures struggled to Pandora's room. It was different from all the others, and it went by the name of Hope. And drawing strength from the clear, bright light of the stars, it kissed and blessed the sleeping child. Then it stretched its fluttering wings and went upon its way. And the very next day, a miracle had happened. Pandora was no longer quite so curious, and she stopped asking questions that did not concern her, for she had learned an important lesson in life: that it is almost always best, if only you can remember, to mind your own business and do as you are told. The end. Well, I hope you enjoyed that, and if you did, make sure you click that subscribe button and keep coming back to the Shoo Rayner Droid channel for more stories and illustration and all sorts of stuff. And in the meantime, keep reading, listening, and I'll see you next time. You take care now. Bye-bye.